Summary: The Power of Now. A Guide to Spiritual Enlightenment by Eckhart Tolle. The book presents itself as a discussion about how people interact with themselves and others. The concept of self-reflection and presence in the moment are presented along with simple exercises for the achievement of its principles. The book draws from a variety of spiritual traditions, and has been described by one reviewer as Buddhism mixed with mysticism, and a few references to Jesus Christ. A sort of New Age reworking of Zen. It uses these traditions to describe a belief system based on living in the present moment. Its core message is that people's emotional problems are rooted in their identification with their minds. The author writes that an individual should be aware of their present moment instead of losing themselves in worry and anxiety about the past or future. According to the book, only the present moment is real and only the present moment matters, and both an individual's past and future is created by their thoughts. The author maintains that people's insistence that they have control of their life is an illusion that only brings pain. The book also describes methods of relaxation and meditation to aid readers in anchoring themselves in the present. These suggestions include slowing down life by avoiding multitasking, spending time in nature, and letting go of worries about the future. Some of the concepts contained in The Power of Now, such as the human ego and its negative effects on happiness, are further elaborated in the author's later books, in particular A New Earth. Awakening to Your Life's Purpose. You can listen to the summary of this book in our other video. The chapters of the book are divided into following chapters: Introduction, You Are Not Your Mind, Consciousness. The Way Out of Pain, Moving Deeply into the Now, Mind Strategies for Avoiding the Now, The State of Presence, The Inner Body, Portals into the Unmanifested, Enlightened Relationships. Beyond happiness and unhappiness there is peace, and the meaning of surrender. Introduction. In the book's introduction, the author relates his past experiences of continuous anxiety with periods of suicidal depression. Later, when he was 29 years old, he had a personal epiphany and writes, "I heard the words 'resist nothing' as if spoken inside my chest." He relates that he felt as if he were falling into a void, and afterwards there was no more fear. Chapter 1, You Are Not Your Mind. It is likely you spend most of your time thinking about the past and future. Tolle suggests you could be neglecting the only moment that is fully available to you, which is your present. No events occur in the past or future. Life is just a continuous stream of present moments over time. The past is a collection of once present moments that have passed. The future is filled with several present moments that are yet to arrive. As the past and future are simply alternative versions of the present, there are no advantages to worrying about them. If you can simply focus on the present, you will only be dealing with minor problems as they arise. You can break a challenging task into several minor challenges. Chapter 2, Consciousness, The Way Out of Pain. In Chapter 2, Tolle tells the reader that they must recognize their personal ego, without the ego creating an antagonistic response to its own denial or destruction, and explains the purposelessness of the mental pain and anguish that people hold on to. According to the book, the pain body consists of trapped life energy that is split off from your total energy field, and has temporarily become autonomous through the unnatural process of mind identification. In this chapter, the author writes, pain can only feed on pain. Pain cannot feed on joy. It finds it quite indigestible. The author goes on to write that many people live with a tormentor in their head that continuously attacks and punishes them and drains them of vital energy. It is the cause of untold misery and unhappiness. Chapter 3, Moving Deeply into the Now. In Chapter 3, the author writes, in the normal, mind-identified or unenlightened state of consciousness, the power and creative potential that lie concealed in the now are completely obscured by psychological time. You cannot find yourself by going into the past. You can find yourself by coming into the present. Life is now. There was never a time when your life was not now, nor will there ever be. Chapter 4, Mind Strategies for Avoiding the Now. In Chapter 4, Tolle says that tomorrow's bills are not the problem and can be a core delusion that changes a mere situation, event or emotion into a reason for suffering and unhappiness. The book also calls waiting a state of mind that we should snap ourselves out of. Chapter 5. Observe your relationship with your mind. When you seek to detach yourself from your mind, you must be fully conscious of your mind's power. This consciousness should allow you to highlight the subtle ways your mind causes you pain. This pain could be through behavior or thoughts. Simply observing your relationship with your mind will create a gap in the flow of your thinking. For example, suppose you ask yourself what your next thought will be. It is likely there will be a delay before your next clear thought arrives. Consistently using questions like this will help you become more conscious of how you become so used to your mind's flow. Chapter 6. Accept the tragedies in your life. Living in the present does not mean you should be surrendering to the present. You should be adopting mind strategies to deal with any negative feelings that emerge from dealing with the present. Not all pain is within our control, as we all experience challenging moments like loved ones passing away. That said, you must accept these traumatic events for what they are. Doing so will limit the quantity of pain and the length of this painful period. Detaching from your mind will provide you with the inner strength required to accept painful situations. Chapter 7. Relationships can pull you away from the present. Relationships are consistently associated with suffering, partly because society believes we are entitled to great relationships. Tolle believes that relationships often pull us away from the present. They encourage us to consider future experiences as saviors. Relationships are also naturally addictive because they create a love-hate cycle. These cycles make us feel alive. But we are often drawn to people romantically because of our wounds, and we become disillusioned when our romantic partners are unable to heal these wounds. Your spiritual path should never be dependent on another person. Chapter 8. Manifest your flow of energy. Tolle recommends readers connect to the unmanifested presence of the now that we carry with us. So, we must practice being present to inner energy for 10 to 15 minutes at a time. Breaking away from a focus on your body will allow you to be more aware of this energy. Once you have identified unmanifested energy, you want to flow this energy into the manifested form. Tolle calls this chi sleep as a period when you will experience more of the unmanifested. That said, you will not liberate the energy associated with the manifested unless you enter it consciously. So, conscious awareness of the now is your main portal. You can reinforce your awareness of the now by practicing silence. Sleep is an example of an involuntary portal. Death is another involuntary portal. It opens up briefly at the time of physical death. If you missed all other opportunities for spiritual realization during your lifetime, you will still have one last portal open up for you immediately after the body has died. Chapter 9. Detach to find peace. Simply accepting things as they are is the first step in achieving peace. Tolle suggests you move beyond the binary of good and bad by viewing every experience as potentially moving you toward peace. Most bad things in life are created by the ego's need for control. We can create drama when we battle with other egos. We can also create drama on our own, battling with our ego. Tolle says humans are the only life form on Earth that knows negativity. We use it to pollute our environment. Fight against this and use detachment to be free of expectations and acquire genuine compassion. Chapter 10. Surrender rather than resign. Surrender is the simple but profound wisdom of yielding to rather than opposing the flow of life. Eckhart Tolle. Surrender is not the same thing as resignation. One can surrender to the reality of a situation and still take steps to create a different path. Surrendered actions involve letting go of judgment while seeking change. Tolle believes that you can experience more effective motivation when you surrender. Surrender your resistance by acknowledging it, and then understanding how your mind seeks to label and judge this resistance. Understanding your resistance will liberate you from being reactive, and allow you to choose your actions freely. Surrendering is another way of achieving peace. Tolle suggests you mindfully surrender to each moment. Say yes to both what is and what isn't. Without surrendering, we are swapping potential peace for suffering through resistance. You will know that you have effectively surrendered when you no longer have to ask yourself whether you have surrendered. Thank you for listening to this audiobook summary. Hope we are able to summarize the books without distorting the actual message the book wants to give it to its reader. Please share us the feedback in the comments section. Your comment will help us to make better videos in future. If you want to support us, click the thumbs up sign to like our video. Only your support can help this channel to grow. For more amazing audiobook summaries, please subscribe to our channel.